Good afternoon from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and I'm out checking the garden. So today I'm just kind of getting an idea what all I need to get done tomorrow. I didn't have much time to come out today, but I wanted to kind of see what is out here so that I can make a game plan for tomorrow. So I'm just going to take y'all along with me while I check everything. It looks like one of the first things I need to do tomorrow is weed the cucumbers. So they've got all of this junk off in them, and I'll need to get all of that pulled out so that they can produce better. You can see they are starting to make some cucumbers, but we are also losing some of the plants. They're being choked out by the weeds. So I need to get those weeded tomorrow, and might do a little bit of weeding over here in the squash as well. So we are irrigating this again, not as heavily as we were during the summer, but we are irrigating some. You can see we've got quite a few blooms in there, so that's exciting. And there's a squash, so it won't be long before we're taking those to market again. It'll just be a few at a time at first, and then they'll come on in. These actually seem to like a fall planting. They don't get as much heat stress during the day and kind of rest, so we'll see how that goes. All right, zucchini are a little bit further behind. They weren't planted for, I think it was 2 weeks between planting, but you can see there's some little buds in there, so they're not doing too bad. All right, we will check. See, this is second planting of radishes. So these are icicle and gumball over there. And then in here we have carrots, if I can get my shadow out of the way. All right, so there's some carrot plants right there. And some right there. So those are coming along. I will need to be pulling some radishes tomorrow. There's one there that's already pushed its way out of the ground. So there's the gumball mixes, and then here's the icicles, the big white ones. So I will be harvesting those. This is our best looking tomato plant. This is actually a volunteer. We had one that rotted, and so we just kind of tossed it to the side, and this is the result. So we're not sure exactly what kind it's going to be. Based on that shape right there, I'm guessing Mr. Stripey, which makes me happy because the rest of those died. That's the end of the Mr. Stripeys. So chocolate cherries are making. There's a few on there. So they've come back and they're making a little bit. And these will just keep growing until frost. Eggplant is doing its thing. I think most people are getting kind of sick of eggplant, but it's making. All right. Looks like I will need to fertilize everything over here, so we'll add that to the list for tomorrow. I think these are Mr. Stripeys that are blooming here. I believe that was what was in this spot. And then down this way, oh, they look so sad, don't they? Down this way, we've got some Sweet Millions. Oops, we missed that one. It's split. Oh no. So they're trying to do their thing. There's some more down there. I need to get the weeds out of these as well. But we will be picking these before long. Remember that we do pick these slightly yellow just so that they don't go bad before we get them to the market. So that's the top garden, and I'm going to go check the back now. I think our dang chickens are better fall gardeners than we are. I'm on my way out to the back garden, and I noticed, look at all these tomatoes that have come up outside the chicken pen. We threw them the scraps, and then these are the seeds that washed out. So we're going to just kind of keep an eye on these, and when they start to make, we may pick some. I may move some of them to a pot and see if I can move them to the greenhouse. There's even a watermelon growing out here. Nature is amazing. Okay, so I've been on jelly duty for the last several weeks, and Brandon has been doing most of the garden stuff. I'm going to have to ask him if we're done picking okra or if he's just rebelling, because it looks like he hasn't picked all week. Look at the size of some of these. Maybe he's just like, no, I'm not going to pick okra anymore. I know that some of our customers are starting to get tired of it, but I do try to pick it all the way until it's done. Whoop, that one's going to be tough. Just because there's always those people that want to get a little extra for the freezer, or they just love it so much that they want to get as much as they can for themselves. And so I try to pick it all the way through, but it doesn't look like it's been picked at all this week. So some of those are monsters on there. And it is very itchy to pick by this time of year. The spines seem a little bit more vicious, I guess, by this time of the year. The aphids are sticky on there. The fire ants get in it to eat the aphids. It's just kind of a pain by this time of the year. But I'll take a little bit with us on Saturday. We will have some of that. Apparently there's also a wasp in it really bad now. So that should be fun. And then I'm going to go check those peas here in just a minute as well. Alright, I didn't get just a ton of okra. Most of them were too big. And there are not many leaves left, so we may just go ahead and mow that out pretty soon. Checking the peas now. Brandon wanted me to start checking them today and make sure that they're not ready to pick just yet. You can see that they are loaded down. These fall peas are probably my favorite. They just make like crazy when they're not stressed in the heat. And I'm not stressed in the heat to pick them. It's a lot nicer to pick. So Brandon got them cultivated, got some of the weeds out the other day. Probably about the last time he'll be able to do that before they're too big. But you can see that they just flushed full of peas after that last rain. Still a lot of blooms in there. If we get another rain shower, I think we'll get even more peas. And so this batch, this planting, we do 10 rows at a time on this last one because it is cooler and I can come out here and pick a little bit more at a time without dying. So this one, we will sell some of them unshelled by the bushel. I know a lot of you have been asking for that all summer. We've done a couple of like special orders for some people, but for the most part they've been shelled. But we will be able to do some unshelled by the bushel. So not just a whole lot of excitement going on today. It's a beautiful cool afternoon, but not a whole lot making. I think I am going to grab a couple of those tomato plants that the chickens planted for us, and I'm going to take them back home and stick them in the greenhouse, and we'll kind of watch and see what they do. We've been looking for some things to sort of experiment with, and so that'll be a good one to do. But otherwise, not just a ton happening. Looks like okra's done for the year. Looks like those peas will be ready, not for this weekend's market, but maybe by next. Of course, we still have shelled peas for this weekend, and that's about what's happening. So I hope y'all enjoyed our very quick trip to the farm, and I hope you will tell your friends about us. Like and subscribe to our channel, and like our page on Facebook. Tell your friends about us, and come back when you can stay longer.